Hello everyone, in this video we're going to take a look at how not applying the proper pressure in the proper way during the drive can have a negative impact on the set of the boat. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to look at a particular location I saw, and it's coming up right through here. It's right through this drive, and so I'm just going to zoom into stroke seat, and I want you to notice the two gunnels, and we're going to look at how the boat tips during the upcoming drive. So right above the word Hudson, you can see the two gunnels. So we're down to port. Here comes the drive. And as we go through the drive, look at the boat come back over to starboard. You see that? During the drive, comes back over to starboard. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. I'm going to try to identify why that's happening. You know, you have a gunnel here, and you can't even really see the gunnel, but there's a starboard gunnel. But as I step backwards in time, you can see both gunnels very clearly because we're down on port, and then during drive comes back to starboard. So why is that happening? Well, let's look at the phase of the stroke that actually occurs in. So if I step back, we're just going to use stroke seat as an example to look at that phase. So let's go through the drive and let's see when the tip starts happening, what's going on with the stroke. So the tip starts happening right in here is when it starts to come back over. And if you look at stroke seat, she's in a very, very strong drive position. This is really approaching the middle of her drive. Right around here is the middle of the drive. We're at sort of an angle. The middle of the drive is right around in here. And that's when it finally comes hardest back over to the starboard side. So that's what I'm zoomed in on stroke seat, but that's what pretty much everyone is doing. They're in just about the middle of the drive when it really starts to hit hard onto starboard. So how could that be? How could it be that in the middle of the drive, suddenly the boat comes over to starboard? There's not like there's a sudden current to one side of the boat. The coxswain isn't suddenly steering in one huge motion. There's not like a log in front of them or something like that. So what is going on? So I'm going to attempt to explain this, and I'm going to look at bow seat. What I think is going on here is bow seat, as they begin driving, you can see bow seat is beginning to drive with the body, and there's not a lot of leg pressure that's happening. The seat is moving slightly, but it's primarily a body drive. So then when we get to the point that the boat is tipping, and in fact we can use the gunnels, we can use the gunnels in this area as well. There's one gunnel here, and there's another one right below it, and as we step forward, we can see when does the boat tip. It's right around here, right in the middle of the drive. And zooming back out, looking at bow seat, you can see how much her legs are still bent. And as we step forward, get to about this position, she still has a little leg bend. But we look up in the stroke, so the stern pair, and even two as well a little bit, their legs are flat. So what I think is going on here is actually pretty simple. The bow seat is not applying enough power with the legs, well, not enough power overall. She's applying a lot of power with her body, but it's not enough to counteract the legs of the stroke seat and the two seat. So stroke and two are in the middle of a very strong drive, and they're using their legs. Bow is using her body, so it's not as strong. And when you have both people on port side driving much stronger, then bow seat in the fore has a lot of control over the set. And when she's essentially being outpulled here for just this one little instance, one little moment where she's being outpulled in a big way, it's going to push the boat over to starboard side. So it's not that bow isn't rowing hard. It's that she's rowing hard with the wrong body parts in the wrong time of the stroke. So you can see that body drive of bow seat right through here when, look how much legs she's still got. She still has a lot of legs left to give, but stroke is almost done with her legs. And by the time stroke is done with the legs, right around in here, you can see bow seat is still bent with the legs. And the body is back quite a bit. So really we want the body to be vertical or even a little bit back at this point and the legs flat. But the body shouldn't be back and still have the legs bent like this. So I think that's what's happening. I think during this one stroke, the two ports are out pulling the bow seat, and it pushes the boat over to starboard side. So that's why it's important to get your blade in with everyone and make sure we're all driving at the same location in the drive with the correct stroke in order to keep the boat on an even keel and centered. So hope you got something out of this.